Welcome back for Keeper of the Lost City's Lodestar, chapters 39 and 40. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss a chapter. And today, let me know, would you rather be unmatchable like Sophie or not like the people on your lists? I don't know. It's a real thought twister. Let me know. Chapter 39. Keith's head was full of cities, places Sophie recognized. Some she didn't. But they all had one thing in common. "Why are you visiting humans?" she transmitted. "Not for the reason you're thinking." "You don't know what I'm thinking." "Actually, I do. Your emotions are so intense, you might as well be holding up a sign saying, 'I'm worried about this.' But I'm just there to study people. It's part of my empathy training. And, yep, working with the Neverseen is just as annoying as it was working with the Black Swan. It's either this, chores, or hardcore skill lessons that make the stuff we did at Exelium look easy." The scene shifted again, and for a second, Sophie thought she was looking at Paris, until she realized the Eiffel Tower-esque statue was white and orange. "When did you go to Tokyo?" "Yesterday. If you look at the signs, you can probably find the date somewhere. Now, do you believe me when I say I had nothing to do with Wiley?" "You get why we need to make sure, right? It's still not awesome knowing you guys sat around and talked about how you don't trust me. You don't make it easy." In his memory, Keith was sitting on a rooftop next to Fenton. She wasn't sure she could do that without shoving Fenton off the edge. "Hey, I'm just as disgusted with him as you are." "Quit reading my emotions." "Can't help it. You're impossible to ignore, and believe me, I get the same nauseating fury every time I look at him. He doesn't deserve to be alive after what he did to Kenrick." "No, he doesn't." "If it helps, I'm not actually around him that much. Alvar supervises me during chores, and Rye's the one in charge of the skill lessons. All Fenton does is take me to crowded places and make me isolate each person's feelings." "Why humans?" she asked, as the scene shifted again, showing a street full of life and movement and color, and people. So many people. Rich and poor, young and old, locals and tourists, talking, laughing, shouting, selling food and trinkets. Some of them wore saris and turbans, which meant Keith was probably in some part of India, but Sophie couldn't tell which city. "Well, for one thing, the Neverseen can't exactly go hopping around the lost cities," Keith reminded her. "But I can also feel most human emotions through the air without needing contact. Plus, humans fascinate Fenton. He hates them, but he's also obsessed with knowing everything about them." The next city was London, right in the heart of the Piccadilly Circus, where people seemed to be gathering around a weird statue and watching a bunch of ads on a giant screen. "So this is all you do?" she asked. "What about during the skill lessons?" "Those are just Rye showing off. He must have been Exilium's star student, and I'm pretty stinktastic at everything, so the lessons usually end with him calling me useless." Sophie could feel the sting the word triggered. After all the times his dad had hurled the same accusation. But she was glad he wasn't excelling at the Neverseen's training. "And that's it?" she asked. "You don't do anything else?" "Pretty much. There are lots of nasty chores, and there's been the occasional mission, like the day they stormed the sanctuary. But I had nothing to do with Wiley. I swear I didn't even know it was happening. I'm actually glad you guys told me so I can prepare before I head back." "Will you be safe?" "Sure. Why not? I wasn't part of the botched mission. In fact, some people might get demoted." "You say that like it's a good thing." "It is a good thing. It'll make Fenton use me more." "But for what?" "I can't worry about that, Foster. I can't think about all the what-ifs or maybes. I can only take it one day at a time, one assignment at a time, and fight my way through." In the memory, Fenton smiled at something Keith had said, and Sophie's insides twisted. "I hate that he's the one training you. He's not even an empath." "I know, but all the one-on-one time I'm getting with him is crucial if I'm going to steal his cash. Plus, there aren't any other empaths to train me." I asked him why, and he said, "It's rare to find those who are open to new sensations." He made his mental voice sound like Finton, and the knot of emotions under Sophie's ribs pulled so tight it hurt to breathe. Sorry, I guess it's pretty hard to hear that after all the awful times you've been in his head, Keith mumbled. I don't know how you stand it. It makes me want to claw my ears off, or claw his lips off, or, I don't know, I just want to claw something. I know. I'm super glad you're not clawing me, and fortunately he doesn't talk much. Mostly he says, tell me what they're feeling, and points to some random person in the crowd. It only gets weird at the end. Before he brings me back to the hideouts, he always asks, if you could save one of these people, who would you save? That's terrifying. I know. I totally thought he was going to burn down the city, and I had no idea what I'd do if he did. But he just scratched his chin and asked why I chose the person. He always writes down my answer in this little notebook he keeps in his pocket. Most of the time, he tilts the page so I can't see it. But a couple of days ago, it was windy, and the pages kept flapping. So he held it at a different angle, and it looked like he was making a list. I have no idea of what, but the label on the top said, Criterion. Chapter 40. I'm guessing there's a reason you just gasped, Keith said as the city in his memories shifted again to a colorful barrio filled with music and dancing. Sophie bit her lip. Bianna overheard Alvar talking to someone on his imparter at Everglen a few months back, and he used the word criterion. He was also talking about test subjects. She let that sink in before she asked, do you think that means they're planning to train you like this for a while? Probably, Keith said, disgust laced through every syllable. I keep trying to tell you, I'm not the guy you want me to be. I don't want you to be anyone except you. Whatever the Lodestar initiative, it doesn't define you any more than Project Moonlark defines me, especially since I'm starting to think their plans aren't even working. I can't remember the last time the Black Swan were ahead of all the crazy stuff going on, and it seems like the Never Seen are scrambled too. These groups may have created the game, but that doesn't mean we have to play by their rules. And if there's one thing you and I are both good at, it's making things up as we go along. I guess I can live with that, Keith thought, as his memory changed to a quaint, village-style city with a long wooden bridge spanning the peaceful river in the center. Enormous snow-capped mountains loomed in the distance, and Sophie assumed that meant they were somewhere like Austria or Switzerland. So, what are your criteria for deciding which person you would save? She asked. It depends. I mostly look for whoever seems happiest, since I figure they'd appreciate getting to live. Or I pick one of the kids. They're so cute and small and innocent. And whoa, that's a huge wave of sappy mushiness you're hitting me with. What did you expect? You're talking about saving kids. And 10 minutes ago, you thought I was Wiley's fourth kidnapper. Remind me to thank Bang's boy for that the next time I see him. And the Fitster. If you could have seen Wiley's injuries, you would have understand why we had to be sure. She had to clamp down her memories to stop herself from picturing it. Besides, seeing you in that robe, yeah, I can feel how much you hate it. Hate isn't a strong enough word. I want to rip it to shreds. Well, don't. I'm not wearing anything underneath. He snort-laughed when she scrambled back a step. I'm kidding! The hair gross out is noted. And FYI, the reason I'm wearing it is because I can't risk losing another one. Fenton flipped out when I came back from Foxfire without it, probably because he couldn't track me or something. That's not the only reason. Oh? Yeah. Seconds passed. Aw, come on, Foster. I'm the cute guy who chooses to save kids, remember? How can you resist me? Who said anything about cute? It totally goes without saying. Don't even try to deny it. She couldn't, and he knew. And she hated that. If I tell you I want something in return, she decided. Isn't my eternal devotion enough? Not even close. That hurts, Foster. That's the game. If I tell you what we found in your cloak, I want a secret in return. I want to see whatever memory you got back that freaked you out and made you run away. His mind seemed to squirm. Come on, Keith. Sooner or later, you're going to have to tell me anyway. See, but later sounds a lot better than sooner. You think it does, because hiding stuff always sounds easier. But all it really does is make it so that you're stuck carrying the burden all alone. That's better than dumping it on you. But I'm asking you to, and I promise it's not going to change anything. Oh, it changes everything. You'll see. Does that mean we have a deal? She heard him sigh. Fine, but you go first. Fair enough. She explained about the disc in his cloak, and how Prentice's memory of the symbol seemed to be connected to him calling Swan Song, and how they found the shadow print on the symbol on the floor of the abandoned hideout in Paris. And while she was at it, she told him about the listening device in his old imparter. Your turn, she finished. Whoa. Hang on, you can't just dump all of that on me and not give me a second to process. There was a listening device in my old imparter? How did you even have it? Yours accidentally got switched out with mine the day we searched your room and found your mom's note. Dex couldn't track the signal, but we assumed it went to the Neverseen, and that's how they knew about our ambush on Mount Everest and had time to prepare. Mom of the Year strikes again. His mind seemed to darken as thick clouds of anger swirled through his consciousness. I don't know why I even get surprised anymore. Because you haven't let her break you, and I hope you never do. She watched him gather the words, tucking them away somewhere safe, before he asked, So the disc you found in my cloak? Was it a kind of tracker? Sandor and Mr. Forkle didn't think so. It wasn't covered in any enzymes, and it's made of something called duskatine, which is apparently a type of stone that reacts to starlight. We have no idea why it has a piece of the symbol carved onto it. But it can't be a coincidence. And you haven't seen the symbol anywhere? Nope. But I'm still at their stupid new recruit house. I bet I'll find it once I get to a real hideout. In the meantime, maybe y'all need to lose this cloak and see what happens. Bad idea, especially after you took the risk to meet with us today. There you go again with your logic. It's really cramping my style. Well then, why don't you stop me by showing me that memory? Are you sure you wouldn't rather lecture me a little longer? Tempting, but no. When he hesitated, she added, Come on, Keith. Haven't you stood by me through all the weird things in my past? Let's not forget, I'm the girl with the alicorn-inspired DNA. Yeah, but that lets you teleport and communicate with Sylvanie, so it's a total win. How are she and Greyfell doing, by the way? They're good. If they were here, Sylvanie would tell you to stop stalling. Pretty sure she'd actually be chanting, Keith, 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 as everyone should when they see me. There you go again, changing the subject. Got that. You're a quick one, Miss F, and I'm pretty sure I've given you way more than 5 minutes, so nope, you're not getting out of this. We made a deal, and I'm holding you to it. See, and I'd kinda like to find out how you'll punish me if I don't. She was tempted to snap back with a long list of incredibly creative forms of Keith torture, but then she'd be giving in to the distraction he wanted. Please, she tried. I'm tired of wondering about that memory. I'm tired of worrying which side of the line you're on every time it gets weird. I'm tired of having Dex tell me he thinks you're my nemesis, and whoa, back up. Disney thinks I'm your what? Well, he didn't actually say nemesis, but he implied it. We were trying to guess what the Lodestar initiative is, and he wondered if it's the Neverseen's version of Project Moonlark, which would basically mean that they need you to stop me. Wow, that's just... He burst into a fit of snorty giggles. I'm glad you find this so amusing. You don't? Don't tell me you actually believe him. I don't want to, but what else am I supposed to think? You told me when you ran off that you were meant to be something other than a hero, and just a few minutes ago you told me you're not the guy I want you to be. Ugh, I guess you need to see that memory, don't you? Yeah, I really do. Okay. The word felt sluggish, like his mind was dragging its feet. But after several seconds, a new flashback began. Interesting, considering one of the future books is named Flashback. that concludes chapters 39 and 40. Holy so-keef. And, I'll see you tomorrow for chapters 41 and 42. Bye.